August 6th.
Narration. Pokemon narration. Pokeration? Wow, this leaf has a hole that is conveniently shaped like Mew's face. What are the odds?
Today my colleagues will reach the site where an ancient civilization may have created a shrine to Mew, the most powerful Pokémon to have ever existed.
Now, when you say most powerful Pokemon to have ever existed, are we still taking into account Pokemon like Arceus, Giratina, etc.? Because I know those Pokemon are probably more powerful than Mew. Now, I know this movie was released way before those Pokemon were officially created and revealed, but in universe, if we have an ancient civilization that claims Mew is the most powerful Pokemon of all, I'd have to believe that they either have no knowledge of other legendary Pokemon, or were given misinformation about the true strength of other legendary Pokemon if they want to say Mew is the strongest. Maybe Mew's the only Pokemon they know of with such power. All I'm saying is I'd like to know where this claim is coming from. Evil businessman funds a project so he can get what he wants cliché. So Dr. Fuji is just saying that he had to agree here, but we're never told why he has to agree, nor what he actually wants to achieve from all of this. We don't know what Dr. Fuji's motives are or how he got started on this project. Even in 1999, this research team is acting like if you don't take a photo, then it didn't happen. Now I get this is probably for historical documentation to have a photographic record of the expedition, but this just feels like when girls go to the bathroom and have to take at least 3 selfies before finishing their trip to the bathroom. I actually really like these ancient carvings of Mew on the wall depicting what they thought it might look like, and it's crazy how accurate it actually is. It's stuff like this that really makes the Pokemon world feel alive like our own world, and that deserves a sin off. But I'm giving the sin right back because Mew decides to playfully appear behind the research team, casting a shadow over the carvings and could have easily been seen. I think Mew is just trying to have its mythical status revoked. Why is this fossil glowing green though? I've seen dinosaur fossils, fossils of ancient sea creatures, and they don't glow green. Is it glowing green because it's a fossil of a powerful psychic type? How is it glowing green? Also, if this is a Mew fossil, then how is Mew alive right now in this movie? I know they said they believe it to be a Mew fossil, but they managed to use this to create Mewtwo later on, so this supposed Mew fossil was a pretty damn good find to have DNA so close to Mew, because if it really was a Mew fossil, then Mew shouldn't be alive in this movie. Unless it's a fossil from a dead Mew and this Mew is the only surviving Mew for some reason? Okay, Mew is either just really nosy or is asking to be caught here. Calculations, test tubes, computers, laboratory, excitement? Okay, so remember earlier when I said we had no idea what Dr. Fuji's motives were for wanting a fossil of Mew and that he just had to agree to Giovanni's demands? Well, the original Japanese theatrical version of this movie actually has a 10-minute section of this movie titled The Birth of Mewtwo that explains how Dr. Fuji actually wants to revive his deceased daughter Amber. This short portion of the movie is so beautiful, touches upon the themes of existentialism, life itself, a father being too obsessed by his work that his wife leaves him, grief, death, the ethical concerns of using science and medicine to extend life, or in this case, reverse death. It puts so many real-world concerns and problems that make us innately human at the forefront of this movie. This is Pokemon, and this is some heavy material. This is a children's movie. You would never see subjects this deep touched in Pokemon nowadays. And then we get to see Mewtwo watch his new friends die before his eyes, and I won't lie when I say this makes me cry every damn time. Now later this short was released internationally and dubbed accordingly, so I'm adding 151 sins for not including this in the original dub release of this movie. I'm also adding another sin for making me think of Peter Parker's "I don't feel so good" line from Avengers Infinity War, which also made me cry, so screw you movie for making me feel so much sadness at once.
Life, the great miracle, and the great mystery.
More narration. Pokeration returns.
This is not the same. Was everything before just a dream?
It was only just a dream. So did they take the ancient carving out of the wall, essentially desecrating the ruins? Or did they make their own copy since this research team is about cloning and copying? This shot somehow contains no trace of the mess Mewtwo made after breaking his containment unit. Not 1 ounce of glass or liquid anywhere to be found. Humans are to their creations cliché. Also, Dr. Fuji is a to Mewtwo. What the hell is this guy doing? Not even a full 20 minutes into this movie and we have just witnessed Mewtwo murder a whole team of scientists. This shot of the island isn't reversed in Giovanni's window like it should be. Also, how in the hell did Giovanni get to that island that fast? They just radioed his helicopter several minutes ago, and you're gonna tell me in the time that Mewtwo spoke to Dr. Fuji and obliterated the lab, Giovanni had time to answer the call, get to his helicopter, and fly over here? How close is this island to mainland Kanto? Because it apparently only takes less than 5 minutes to get there via helicopter, which is insane. So because you have awesome psychic powers, were cloned from you, and murdered a whole research team, and obliterated their lab, you all of a sudden claim that you're the strongest Pokemon in the world? That's a pretty bold claim to make there, buddy. I mean, I know I made a video discussing why Mewtwo actually is the strongest Pokemon, but at least my claim was based in research and evidence. Mewtwo was just born and only knows about one Pokemon, Mew. That is a flimsy remark to make. Villain persuades the main character to get what he wants cliché. Scene does not contain rock music like Black Sabbath or AC/DC playing in the background. This is an Iron Man suit up 9 years before Iron Man would even release in theaters. Villain intentionally withholds information to get what he wants cliché.
So, this is my power.
What do you mean, this is my power? You already know somewhat the extent of your power, or do you not remember obliterating an entire lab on an island earlier in this movie? These poor Tauros. So if you were watching this when it first aired, then this sequence of Mewtwo battling Gary is quite strange because due to the episode Electric Soldier Porygon and the Caesars kids experience due to the flashing light sequences caused by Pikachu, the episode Battle of the Badge, Mr. Mime Time, and Showdown at the Poke Corral were all delayed, and chronologically, it is during these 3 episodes that the movie takes place. So this sin is for Pikachu causing that episode to be banned and delaying these episodes and causing this weird lapse in the timeline. Also, if Mewtwo is the strongest Pokemon in the world, why is it testing its power against Pokemon like Tauros, Onix, and Magneton? I get they're all fully evolved at this point in time since Steelix and Magnezone don't exist yet, but why doesn't Mewtwo actually go up against stronger Pokemon? We got Alakazam and that was it. Shouldn't this Pokemon be battling other Pokemon like Gyarados, Machamp, Dragonite? Like, how did Giovanni choose these opponents for Mewtwo to battle? Evil villain double crosses the person that trusted them cliché. And if Mewtwo just used its psychic powers to decimate this entire building, I want to know how fast Giovanni can run to avoid being blown to bits like this entire building, because Giovanni should totally be dead here. Of course, in the mainline anime, we see that Giovanni does survive the explosion somehow because reasons, and it's totally fine. So the sin here is Giovanni survives this. So you're telling me Mewtwo flew all the way back to the island where it was created? Why? Does it feel some sentimental attachment to it? Because if anything, Mewtwo should feel nothing but resentment for this place, but yet will create his entire castle on this island later in the movie.
I will find my own purpose and purge this planet of all who oppose me.
You're going to purge everyone who opposes you? What if a little kid happens to not like you? Does he or she get purged too? What about elderly people? I just want to know where Mewtwo draws the line here, because it sounds like Mewtwo has no clearly defined lines that he cares about crossing. But I guess this is somewhat understandable since he's only been exposed to humans who absolutely couldn't care less about Mewtwo other than how powerful it was, so maybe the sin here is for humanity instead.
Today, Ash, Brock, and Misty are taking a short break from their Pokémon adventures.
More narration. Also, movie takes a whole 10 minutes to actually start after the prologue, and if you include the birth of Mewtwo, then it becomes 20 damn minutes, my god! For some reason, Togepi thinks it's hilarious that Pikachu just fell off this cliffside. I know Togepi is like a child, but even a child wouldn't find someone falling off a cliff funny even if they could climb back up it. And then they continue playing like nothing happened.
Hungry. Need food. No, Ash! You haven't done a thing all day. I'm too weak to work, Misty. I haven't eaten since breakfast. No.
I know I get hungry by lunchtime too, but I'm just curious as to what Ash did that's making him this hungry that he can't move and is too weak to work. Boy, this guy sure is lucky the trainer he happened to stumble across just happened to be the Ash Ketchum he was looking for. Also, this is early in Ash's career, so how popular and famous could Ash possibly be at this point in time? The need to have a Pokemon battle somehow instantly makes any feeling of hunger disappear as if he wasn't completely hungry just moments ago.
That's progress. At least his mouth is working.
Brock would be excellent at Pokesins. I won't play the song because copyright is a thing, but this rendition of the iconic Pokemon theme sung by Billy Crawford for this movie is outstanding and masterful, and so damn good it deserves 2 sins off. And I'll remove another sin for introducing us to Donphan before Generation 2 was even announced, because this was absolutely hype, and Donphan is actually one of my favorite Johto Pokemon. You know you were totally stoked to see this new Pokemon in this movie for the first time, and you're lying if you say this didn't excite you. Okay, I can understand Bulbasaur's Solar Beam taking out the Donphan earlier since Solar Beam is a strong grass type move, but why is a Bubble Beam attack able to one-shot a fully evolved Machamp? Either this Machamp is super weak or Ash's Squirtle is just cracked. This guy now resorts to cheating since he lost 2 Pokemon in a row. And somehow a single Thunderbolt from Pikachu is all it takes to knock out his 3 Pokemon at once. Also, this is some shenanigans because this Thunderbolt knocks out this Golem, and last time I checked, Golem is a ground type Pokemon which is immune to electric type attacks. Movie doesn't know its type matchups.
Well, that sure was a shocking ending.
Shocking that Ash moves so fast.
Brock really would be excellent at Pokesins.
I'm starving.
I can cook something.
Thanks, but the last time you cooked, you wiped out 8 of my 9 lives.
I love Team Rocket. So Mewtwo has this one Fearow spying on Ash and his friends, yet has 5 computer screens with 5 different angles at once being displayed. So either there's 4 other Fearow we don't know about, or these are separately recorded shots and angles playing on different monitors, meaning they're not simultaneous, or Mewtwo has created some crazy high-tech camera that records different angles simultaneously and sends the live feed to his computer to play all the angles at once. Either way, this is some shenanigans. Dragonite is a d to Ash and his friends. Like, why couldn't Dragonite have slowed down before screwing up their lunch setup?
Should we go?
Of course we should! I've got a meter!
The power of boners. So this is Dragonite, a pseudo-legendary Dragon-type Pokemon with lots of power and speed, yet somehow, this frying pan held up by Team Rocket is able to hold back a Dragonite. How is this even possible? This Dragonite should have barreled through them and not have been stopped by this small frying pan. This is ridiculous. And this, my friends, is where Mewtwo's power set just begins to increasingly enter new areas of bullshit. In the prologue, we saw Mewtwo blow up buildings, stop Pokemon dead in their tracks, smash them into walls, deflect attacks, but we never saw Mewtwo capable of creating devastating storms like this. So when did Mewtwo unlock this power? And don't worry, because we will not get an answer to this at all. In fact, this movie will continue to just expand Mewtwo's power set and knowledge with no explanation whatsoever. You would think as long as they've been traveling together, one of them would have invested in an umbrella by now. What is this dude staring at? Is he just watching this guy sleep on the bench? I assume he's asleep because we can't see his head. Even if he was awake, that would still be bad and awkward. Why is he staring?
Togepi's totally soaked.
Misty, you are all totally soaked, not just Togepi, but I guess Togepi is the only one that counts here.
What? The ferry is canceled?
Yes, the ferry is cancelled, or maybe you idiots don't see the raging storm waves outside the window. Anyone with a brain and common sense would know that any ferries and ships would remain docked in a time like this. You guys just sound like selfish jerks by saying this. How is Ash moving through the crowd this smoothly? He's just popping in and out and magically gets to the front. I have been in many large crowds in my life, and I assure you, getting to the front of any crowd is not this easy.
Well, I'm going to New Island anyway. All my Pokemon are water type.
Saying this when later it will be revealed that you own a Nidoqueen on your team. Just because it's blue doesn't mean it's a water type. Just ask Grappalocked.
She's cute. Huh. She sure looks familiar.
Wow, Brock's power of boners is incredible. I know Ulner's Joy looked the same, but he's saying she looks familiar because later he's going to realize that she's the same woman who appeared in their invitation to New Island. All of these trainers are to their Pokemon as they are going out in these clearly dangerous storm conditions because they can't resist an invitation from someone who claims to be the world's strongest Pokemon trainer. Also, why would they believe it? Is this the first time someone has claimed to be the world's strongest Pokemon trainer? Or is this convincing because it came with an invitation and directions on how to get there and was delivered via Dragonite mail services? I don't know, seems like they have a death wish if you ask me. Blue-lipped Gyarados. This female trainer appears here taking off on her Fearow and then appears again here riding her Fearow and then will never appear again for the remainder of the movie. So this only proves my point that these trainers were stupid for choosing to go out into this storm because either this girl flew back to the mainland after realizing the mistake she made, or the storm killed her and her Fearow, which would only add to the list of murders that Mewtwo has committed already in this movie.
Come back here, or I'll place you under arrest.
Officer Jenny, I love you, but who do you plan on arresting exactly? Your threat was,
Come back here, or I'll place you under arrest.
this makes absolutely no sense since they have to come back for you to arrest them. If they don't come back, then you can't arrest them, which makes your threat of arrest meaningless and empty.
I didn't know Vikings still existed.
They mostly live in Minnesota.
Original Pokemon comedy was golden.
Those aren't Vikings. It's Team Rocket.
I should have known there was something fishy about them besides the way they smell.
This swimming in the ocean goes on for all of some time, and they survived this. So how did she know they were there? Did she watch them swim all the way from the middle of the ocean to the pier? Does she just stand there the entire time until Mewtwo says she can stop? Holy sh! You're telling me that during the entire time they were battling the ocean waves, Ash didn't lose that device at all when it was sitting in his pocket, and you're gonna tell me it's waterproof? I call bullshit.
I knew I recognized that face.
What?
You the nurse who's missing from the treatment center?
Brock's boner powers are actually insane. Team Rocket survives this.
Only the trainers capable of braving the storm have proven themselves worthy in my master's eyes.
Guess the girl with the Fearow wasn't worthy. I swear Mew was just begging to be caught.
I decided to fly over. It was easy. Hurricane winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here.
Not knowing the name of your Pokemon because this is clearly a Pidgeot. I know Mew has a playful, childlike spirit, but damn does it really like to mess with people. What is the purpose of this curved, flat spiral staircase if Mewtwo is just going to float down the center of it? Is it here for decoration? Did it originally have a purpose? Why is it here? No one will be seated as Mewtwo torches and chucks this guy into a pool of water that most likely should have knocked him unconscious given how shallow we find out this pool is later. Nidoqueen is colored purple here like a Nidoking.
Your knowledge of Pokémon physiology proved useful for my plan. And now I have cleansed your tiny human brain of memories from the past few weeks.
Past few weeks? Are you telling me it took Mewtwo a few weeks to clone his 3 starter Pokemon, get the genetic cloning process down, and make this giant castle? I can assure you none of that would take a mere few weeks. Either Mewtwo is straight up lying here for some reason, or this island exists in a pocket dimension right now where time passes differently. Okay, maybe all of that was done before kidnapping Nurse Joy. But then what was Mewtwo doing with Nurse Joy for a few weeks? Was he perfecting the cloning process with her? Was he studying up on all currently known species of Pokemon so he knows what DNA he'll be working with? All I'm saying is with a plan like this and how high-tech all this equipment is in his lab, I feel like a few weeks is a very short timeline to get anything done properly no matter what it was.
Who are you?
Brock, my guy, were you not listening? They said moments ago.
This is the ruler of New Island and soon the whole world. Mewtwo.
Pay attention, Brock.
I am the new ruler of this world, the master of humans and Pokémon alike.
Premature celebration. Why is the cloning lab with all the very high-tech cloning equipment and scientific machinery this easily accessible? This door just automatically opens like a door to a grocery store or your local Target or Walmart. Team Rocket should not be able to just waltz in like this.
Look at these.
You better look at this cliche.
Are they real?
No, James, I believe Mewtwo just wanted them for decoration.
I was hoping there'd be a party.
In this room? In this room, you'd be hoping for a party. What made it seem like there'd be a party in here at all? What about the atmosphere of this entire island and its castle made you think there'd be a freaking party in this room or anywhere in this castle? Look, like I know Mewtwo is incredibly smart and intellectual, so I'm sure he could have made the cloning process much more smooth and efficient and easier as well. But I am not convinced that he would have made the cloning process this damn fast. Dolly the sheep was the first successfully cloned mammal, and that was in 1996 after taking 277 attempts to clone her. Even after they got it right, Dolly still took 148 days to be born. Now granted, that's the normal gestation period of a sheep, so maybe it could have been faster here with these Pokemon, but this machine literally just took Meowth's hairs mere seconds ago and already popped out a clone. This was almost instantaneous, and there's no way this cloning process at the end of the 90s would be this damn fast. Wow, that button that Jesse accidentally sat on not only managed to activate the cloning machine, but also managed to play a tape giving us all the exposition we already got in the prologue. I know we know what happened as the audience and they would have had no idea about it, but you're still making me revisit the prologue in a quick recap which I already sat through for 10 minutes. So did Mewtwo destroy everything in the lab but the tapes? Because I can assure you, because we saw it, that lab was obliterated. It was in ruins and on fire. Or did Mewtwo recreate the tape so someone could watch and listen to it in case someone ever stumbled into this room one day? It just sounds pretty convenient to me and honestly doesn't make much sense for Mewtwo to keep this tape or recreate it.
So this must be the lab.
But if Mewtwo destroyed it...
Somebody rebuilt it.
Yes, but who?
Team Rocket will be excellent at Pokesims because I too am wondering who rebuilt this lab as well, and we will never get any answer to it in this entire movie. One would assume that Mewtwo rebuilt it, but that would require either 1, Mewtwo to have a photographic memory of the entire lab which he definitely didn't see beyond the one room he was in, or 2, he would have needed a blueprint of the lab which he may have stolen from Giovanni's facility. But even then, Mewtwo was only kept in that one room hooked up to the armor, so I doubt he would have had a chance to steal any blueprints before blowing up the Team Rocket headquarters. So Mewtwo's ability to rebuild this lab is all the bullshit.
You humans are a dangerous species. You brought me into your world with no purpose but to be your slave.
Whoa, hold on there, buddy. I know you were mistreated by the research team, scientists, and Giovanni, but you are largely generalizing the human species. I'm not denying that the human species is dangerous, but you were mistreated by a small group of humans, so while I understand you have a skewed perception of humanity, you are blaming people who did not even know you existed. So I think you need to reevaluate who you're really mad at here.
My storm will create my own world by destroying yours.
Does the Pokemon world have its own version of the Bible? Because it seems like Mewtwo is ripping his plot directly from the book of Genesis where God flooded the world for 40 days and nights. And this really adds to the God complex that is played with in this movie between Giovanni and the scientists wanting to create their own powerful Pokemon or restore life respectively, and then with Mewtwo having his own God complex by making his own clone Pokemon and wanting to remake the world for him and his clones, and that is pretty heavy stuff to bring into a Pokemon movie, so I will very much give a sin off here for this movie's themes. Forget the impact of Ash and Pikachu hitting the ground. Ash should very very much have a lot of pain in his shoulder from how fast Mewtwo threw Pikachu across the room, and at the very worst, Ash's shoulder potentially could have been dislocated. You just saw Mewtwo deflect an entire Hyper Beam attack right back at Gyarados, so why are you surprised that it can stop your Rhyhorn dead in its tracks?
Like most Pokémon trainers, I too began with Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. But for their evolved forms.
But how do you know most Pokemon trainers start with Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle? I mean, it's possible that Mewtwo snuck into a professor's lab or a research institute one night and found out, or maybe he saw some trainers getting their starter Pokemon one day. But as far as we know, Mewtwo has spent all this time working on perfecting the cloning process, kidnapping and brainwashing Nurse Joy, and building his massive castle on this island. This movie just keeps on letting Mewtwo have all this knowledge that we don't know how he got.
Copies.
They're clones.
Yes, he did just say that. Pay attention, guys. Brock did this earlier too, and I had to send him for it. Was Mewtwo just expecting that they'd all want to battle him? I mean, it's not totally far-fetched of an idea to assume that, but what if they didn't decide to battle him? Then he's just got a useless stadium and battlefield.
Charizard, I didn't say start.
Why does this surprise you? Does Charizard ever listen to you or wait for commands? Okay, I definitely call shenanigans here because at this point in time, Rapid Spin is a move not available in any Pokemon game. So how does Mewtwo know that Blastoise can use this move? Did he train it to do it? Why did Charizard suddenly feel the need to change where it was standing? Earlier it was standing off to the side, in the back like he's too cool to be with everyone else. Then he was standing directly behind Ash, and now he for some reason stood off to the side so he could walk over and be slightly to the side of Ash. Was it so he could walk over for a dramatic effect before the battle? Does Charizard know he's in a movie? Of course, even back then, Charizard was Game Freak's baby, bread and butter, whatever you want to call it, as Charizard is the only starter here that gets a battle lasting more than 15 to 20 seconds. And they even get to take the battle to the skies and in front of the moon. Also, why is this moon so big? Someone call Bruce Almighty.
Charizard's in trouble.
Finish it.
Mewtwo must also know what Mortal Kombat is somehow. Say what you want, but Charizard immediately coming up and roaring like that is badass. But also, Charizard survived this, so this encounter will remain the same here. Someone, please explain to me how in the name of Arceus, Mewtwo is able to materialize Pokeballs out of thin air. How did this ability get into his power set? And why are they able to steal other people's Pokemon? Mewtwo has an absurd level of power and consistently likes to show that he gives no about anything at every chance he gets. Stealing. Also, doesn't this make Mewtwo just like Team Rocket by stealing other people's Pokemon? This is the third time that Mewtwo has thrown somebody in this movie and the second time he's thrown Ash. What is it with Mewtwo and throwing people? I know he's savage, but damn!
This is my world now.
More premature celebration. This guy put like no effort into saving any of his Pokemon. I really like Mewtwo's give no personality in this moment. None of these Pokeballs could think to just, oh, I don't know, just go around him. And see, this is why I asked that question, because here these Pokeballs had the idea to circle Pikachu all at once, but yet couldn't figure out to just go around Ash instead of bombarding his back. Mewtwo may have tons of knowledge, but these Pokeballs are stupid for being designed by Mewtwo. What the Pikachu just started running up this staircase, so how is it already all the way up here? This is all the bullshit, and I'm adding 25 cents for this illogical lapse in physics and Pikachu's speed. Also, I guess it's a good thing Mewtwo built this random staircase after all, because otherwise where would Pikachu have left to go? Also, where on earth does this staircase even go? We never see what's above this staircase. We can assume something is above it, most likely some sort of room since Mewtwo descended from the top of it, but Pikachu and Ash don't know what's up there. Pikachu must have the stamina of an Olympic athlete because he has run up an insane amount of stairs so far. Jesus Christ. Pikachu ran this much? Good lord. But of course the plot allows for Pikachu to be captured last. Why does Ash look completely dry after just being drenched in water?
There goes Alakazam.
So, who's gonna tell them that's a Scyther?
Sandshrew?
So, who's gonna tell me out that's a Sandslash?
What's happening?
Man versus machine. That's what's happening, Meowth. Gosh, this cloning process is insanely fast. Their DNA is just now being collected and processed and analyzed, and this machine is almost instantaneously spewing out the cloned Pokemon. How the hell does that work? Did I miss something while we were cut away from the stadium? Earlier, Mewtwo was on this side with his clones, and now he's on this side facing this way. What was the point of moving positions? And then you have these guys over here who are now standing against the wall when they were originally over here. Why did everyone move? This is one of the most badass Ash Ketchum moments of all time, and I will remove a sin for it. This boy has frickin' guts. Forget battling Mewtwo, Ash instantly chose to throw hands with Mewtwo, and that is a ballsy move. 2 sins off. This is now the third time Mewtwo is throwing Ash in this movie, all within the span of about 25 minutes. What is this guy's deal? Convenient Mew bubble is convenient.
What?
Nani? What the hell, Mew?
I may have been cloned from your DNA, but now I will prove that Mewtwo is better than the original. superior to Mew.
Well, they say an original is always worth more than a copy, but you do you, Mewtwo.
Mew and Mewtwo.
So Mewtwo was cloned from Mew.
Guys, I would really love it if you could pay attention just once in this movie. Mewtwo literally just said that this Pokemon is Mew and that he was cloned from its DNA. I don't know how much more clarification you could possibly need.
This world is too small for two of us.
Actually, I believe it is in fact big enough for the two of you. Also, Mewtwo has somehow, at some point, seen a Western film to be able to use the "this town ain't big enough for the two of us" cliche. I'm sure Mew is thinking to itself right now, "You can't catch me, you can't catch me." I am now renaming this movie Pokemon The Clone Wars.
We were created with powers far stronger than the originals.
Well, you were at least. Considering how fast all your other cloned Pokemon hatched in that lab, I doubt they were made with any extra special powers aside from what they can already do naturally. This movie is actively trying to kill Ash, or at least Mewtwo is.
I will block all the Pokemon's special abilities using my psychic powers.
You can do that too? Is there no limit to Mewtwo's power set? Ash survives that explosion from Mewtwo's Shadow Ball. Why are you running with your arms out to the side like this? This in no way enhances your ability to run faster. I won't play the song due to copyright being a thing, but I must remove a sin for how beautiful and meaningful Brother My Brother is from Blessed Union of Souls. I thought Mewtwo blocked all the Pokemon's special abilities, so shouldn't there be no electricity surging from this clone Pikachu's cheeks right now? Or is it allowed to do that because it needs to show off how angry it is? Gosh, the score for this movie is immaculate.
I'll promise never to fight again if you will.
Unkeepable promises. The fact that their climactic showdown comes down to them just bashing each other while inside these psychic bubbles is a little underwhelming if you ask me. This is actually heartbreaking to watch. Damn you movie, stop making me feel things so much.
I'd rather risk my life out in Mewtwo's storm than watch these Pokemon destroy each other.
Oh, me too.
I think you might change your mind once you get out there. Why weren't you guys doing this the entire time instead of clashing in your psychic bubbles? Not at this moment, but Ash survives this. Tears Ex Machina. When did the two of you get up here and why? Where did Ash's marks go on his cheeks? So Mewtwo can erase memories now too? Honestly, I'm over it. They'll put anything into Mewtwo's power set at this point. I bet they'll add something that even crazier to his power set in Mewtwo Returns. What the hell? Mewtwo erased their memories and rewound time to go back to when they were in the Wharf Station? Mewtwo's power set is all kinds of bullshit.
Hey guys, how did we wind up in this place anyway?
Well, I guess we're just here because we're here.
And that is the answer they all accept as to why they're in this building right now.
Well, maybe you're just seeing things, Ash.
Aw.
Well, maybe he's not.
Well, maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
Many strange legends surround the mysteries of Pokemon.
The movie's about to be over and you're giving me more narration? Why were Jesse, James, and Meowth the only ones left at the island? Is it because Mewtwo didn't invite them and this is their punishment? Did Mewtwo not even know they were there so he didn't think to teleport them to mainland Kanto? Is it because they're always the bad guys anyway so they should get punished automatically? I need answers! What the? How did all this grass and flower get on the island?
Destiny arrives all the same.
Wait a minute, did you just summon a bunch of monsters in one turn?
Yeah, so?
That's against the rules, isn't it?
Screw the rules, I have money.
There are no strings on me.
Pika, Pika, Pika!
So, you say I am wrong? That you are not this human servant, you are his friend?
Pika!
A pathetic trainer and his equally pathetic Pokemon.
You can't touch this.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Dumb ways to die.
I don't know. This place is crack-a-lacking. Oh, I can hang here. I can hang here.